Good evening and welcome to the October 28th meeting of the Lakeville Conservation Commission. We are being recorded by LakeCAM tonight, so I'd like to ask if anyone else is recording. Seeing none, we'll start by introducing ourselves.
I'm Mark Minton, I'm the agent.
John LeBlanc,
Michelle Bouchard.
Nancy Yates.
Joseph Chamberlain,
William Alfanos.
Matthew Ferraro.
Okay. First on the agenda is Forecourt Circle. It was opened at our last meeting, so this is a continuance of a notice of intent. And I think we have somebody presenting.
Yep. How's it going?
Good.
how you doing?
Matt Leone with Schneider, DeVignan, and Leone.
Can you just say that nice and loud, please?
Sure, Matt Leone with Schneider, DeVignan, and Leone.
Okay, thank
Here
you.
tonight on behalf of Deborah and Richard Hansen. I have some, should I give them to you, Mark? The
Sure.
notifications of butters.
Yep.
So I got my paperwork as an order. One moment. I'm missing my presentation.
Just wing it.
Let me just check one last time. Otherwise, we'll wing it. Okay, well, hey, see if I can get in front of this here. So said property is located on Forecourt Circle. It's abutting Long Pond to the east. The property is approximately 32,300 square feet in total. And the applicant is looking to upgrade and replace the existing septic system, as well as add a patio out the back, a tiered patio. They have been in, I believe it was in March, that they came in for an RDA to do some home renovations and to build a existing deck here. So we're kind of building onto the project. Project's expanded as we've gone in. We were in a couple weeks back for the an RDA for the septic system design. We have been, we were notified here that we needed to come back for an NOI because of the additional patios, which we were unaware of at the time. The work will be, the work for the septic system will be mainly outside of the 100-foot buffer zone, which is shown here in blue from the edge of the pond. It's going to consist of basically the removal of the old system as needed, and the construction of the new leaching field and the associated grading and piping that is associated with that system. We will be adding a denitrification system, a singular unit, to the property. When we were here last, we had a 3-bedroom design. They've done a walkthrough and have decided that the bedroom above would be, with the room above the garage would be considered another bedroom. So we've moved up to a 4-bedroom design, which pushed us into the denitrification system. The work within the buffer zone will be the removal of the old tank and the addition of the new septic tank, as well as the piping and grading that's associated with that. The patio is going to be a tiered patio. I do have a picture here. It's a little hard to kind of grasp it. I'll flip the plan over in a minute and show you a picture of what they're planning to do here. There's going to be a 5-foot mulch bed that's going to transition up to the patio level, pretty much the main patio level, which will then transition again up to where it'll meet in with the existing pool deck. There's a concrete pool apron here. They're intending to blend that all together. The bottom of the wall will match into the existing lawn grade, so there should not be any disturbance beyond the limits of the wall, except for any of the leveling material, removal of the existing landscaping and sod and whatnot to create a stable base for the retaining wall system that will accompany the wall. There will be in place a new silt fence. There was some silt fence that was associated with the project prior when we were doing the deck reconstruction. We will be adding a new line of silt fence for erosion control to keep any sediment or anything from running into the pond, as well as to act as a limit of work and a barrier from the pond area. My memory serves, I believe the closest point that the work will be is about 56 feet from the edge of the pond. And I'll flip the plan over, and I do have a handout if anybody wants to. This is kind of what a rendering that the architects have given us as to what the project will look like. Again, there'll be a mulch bed here that's going to have a 20-inch rise, some stairs up to excuse me, the main level of the patio. Another couple steps up to meet that pool grade, which will be a total of 36 inches above the mulch bed. There'll also be a transition under the deck to get to the existing bulkhead entrance that's there. I know Mark's been on the site, I'm sure you've seen that. And then a couple steps up to the deck level.
So is a bulkhead under the deck?
There will be a bulkhead under the deck, I believe. Or, I'm sorry, not under the deck, but, yes, well, actually it will. It will reach, the stairs will be going down off of the patio and then under the deck. I do have a picture that may help clarify that for you.
Is it a walkout, the back of this?
That might help answer your question there. So there's a deck,
Okay.
there's been a deck built above that area, and then there'll be steps off of the patio going down into that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you wanna.
If you want to pass it on this one.
Yeah, no, Mark's kinda,
Oh, do you want?
yeah.
That's okay.
You've been there, right?
And this is another picture of what I had up of it, if you want to pass that around, so people can have an idea of what the patio will look like.
Mark, since you've been the one that's been mostly involved with this,
Yeah, I've been out now a couple times. One of my, I've looked at things like, the slope is pretty, there's some slope, but it's not, from.
Dramatic.
Yeah, it doesn't seem dramatic to me, somehow I printed it out. My other question was, the original siltation fencing that was out there that you've already mentioned, that,
Yes.
it needed to be re-tacked up, but, so I would have suggested what you proposing to just run it along the entire length of the property there over to the, I guess, the pool.
Yeah, we've created turns up to the existing pool deck and to the, or proposing, and the fence there just to button up the whole site, so there'll be no.
What's the patio make? What are you using for the
I
patio?
believe it's gonna be pervious pavers. There'll be, I'm assuming they're gonna use like a Ready Rock or a keystone block
Okay.
for the walls, but the surface of the patio itself will
So
be
not too
pavers.
much excavation, just digging in.
Correct, just to create stable base, gravel
Stone,
underneath, and
yeah,
yeah.
So with the mulch bed, I saw in the picture that there was some, like, granite blocks, is that the containment for the? That's
There-
gonna be down below, that's gonna be right between the,
Yes, it's actually gonna raise up, that mulch bed's gonna actually be about 20 inches above grade. So there'll be a wall and filled with mulch and landscaping in between.
so it's contained,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
is that ground level, yeah.
It'll be above,
Yeah,
there
okay.
will be a wall that separates the lawn from that mulch bed, yeah.
All right, that was another question.
anybody else?
So for the main area, you're bringing in basically almost 40 inches of soil, right, to get to the pavers, to get to the height?
Depending on what the soil, what the slope conditions are, yeah, it's gonna be there will be material brought in and there will be leveling done with existing material, but I'm assuming they're gonna be stripping, topsoil off and what they have remaining will need to be filled to reach that level.
So how are they gonna transport that around the back there?
My assumption is that everything's gonna come in off of, where the septic system is existing now.
And around that back?
I would phase the project to that. It would be difficult to navigate around the pool
Right.
area. So I would think that they would wanna get in, do the patio, work and bring in the materials and then work their way out from the septic system side. And the driveway.
And how far up do you run that, the silt fence? Once it takes the corner down by,
It's shown in pink here, it goes
Yeah.
from the,
No, the other end.
down here?
yeah, how far?
There's an existing chain link fence here.
So are you gonna run something in front of that, just if you're trucking in material?
Yes, it does,
Around
we
that.
do have a return here,
Yeah.
if you feel that it didn't need to be extended, we can do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're trucking in materials in and out from the driveway, the siltation needs to cover that lower level there. So that leg that's just sticking out a little, just extend it down.
Right,
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
so you gotta time this thing right, huh?
What's that?
The existing septic is right where the new one's going?
The existing septic, I drew here in red, is
Okay.
approximately where it is, we're not 100% sure we have some swing ties and stuff, but I couldn't say exactly, but that's approximately where the system is. We do have a location of the tank, which is just above the proposed septic
Mhm.
tank.
Are you guys approved through the Board of Health? for
Yes,
this?
we are.
Okay.
And you're confident in the efficacy of your stuff from washing away moments? Because you know the rain guys just love fresh dirt.
Yeah.
And you know how fast it can disappear with a good little sprinkle.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to stay on top of it for sure. Anytime you're working on a slope like that near the waterfront, they have to, stay on top of it.
Mark, there's a lot of pitch in this yard? Because from looking at the photos, we have like the rim board right under the slider, 8 inches. I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna get the bulkhead under there, actually how much dirt it's gonna be, you know what I mean? So I'm assuming, is the yard?
Well,
is it a lot of-
there's a deck and then the patio's gonna be below, at a lower level
At a
than
lower
the
level.
deck, yes.
Well, like the clearance, like the bulkhead where it's gonna land. You said the bulkhead goes under the patio. I'm trying to.
No, under the deck.
Under
Under
the
the
deck.
deck.
Yeah,
And that's existing already.
That's-
They're just maintaining the access.
Right, and it shows like the stairs, because right now, you would actually go down the stairs in the front, go into the bulkhead, now you're gonna have a deck that comes out. It's almost like, you're almost never gonna have that second 20-inch, mulch bed. You know what I mean, like, if you look at the rim board, you have the deck that's coming out, you see the chalk line snapped across the rim board,
yes.
you're gonna be already on top of the door. Now your steps come down, and goes over into the bulkhead.
I think they're gonna be coming in from the patio
From the
level.
front down.
Yes,
Okay, so this here is actually showing it going down. into here.
yes, and then that little platform there, that's actually from the patio up to the deck.
And you guys are gonna set drainage inside, right, so it doesn't flood out?
I would assume they will have.
And where's that drainage gonna be going out?
That, I don't have an answer for you.
So it's gonna be going into that mulch pit.
Into the mulch, and that's why I'm looking at John, because it doesn't look like there's gonna be enough to even get the mulch bed in front. You wanna-
Yeah, I have not been given any guidance on what the contractor is planning on doing for that. I do know it's an existing well down there now.
Mhm.
I don't know if they have existing pipe going out at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because if it's going down, you're gonna have like a pocket, and you're gonna have a little drainage.
Yeah.
And from where the rim board is placed right now, it doesn't look like you're gonna end up having enough mulch bed, like you're calling out 20 inches of mulch, 20 inches for the patio,
Mhm.
the pavers, and then you got your deck on top. If you look at the rim
Yes.
board, it's right above, so I'm like, it's almost like you're gonna have the porch, the pavers, the drainage right on the front of the lawn. Well, you know, above, like where the mulch bed is, and the mulch bed is actually gonna be on the grate of the property, the land.
Yeah, they have it designed up about 20 inches at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to show,
But it is
20,
coming, it is coming
20.
out quite a bit from, it is coming out, 21 feet away from
Mhm.
the, out and then down slope from the house.
Yeah, my concern was just, if it was draining, it's not gonna be draining
Far enough and
to the
out.
front. Yeah, you can see it on the photo, if you see where the chalk line is,
Yeah,
if you guys could look at it.
Yeah, I do, I know what you're saying, I do believe that that the transition, as you go down, I don't know if I have another photo that shows it.
It's just hard to see, I can't see the main, the back of the property.
I mean, that might help a little bit. That's not a photo. I think that,
So, yeah,
we're
it's-
coming
it's-
out quite a ways away from.
Okay,
the-
that's why I wanted to see, I
Yeah.
didn't see this here,
Okay.
how it grades down. It only shows the front side, I thought it was like, okay, this, your land's almost flat,
Flat
so
with
you
that.
couldn't get your mulch bed plus your pavers.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. John,
I'm good.
everybody?
Just to notice, at least 4 times in response to questions you have said, I assume that on different questions the panel has asked you. You obviously are gonna make sure that proper past procedures are used in stabilizing these, all the work that's going on there, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And we're talking, you wanna get started this season, obviously.
Yes, we're
Okay.
behind as it is, yes.
Okay, all right, so this is a time essential thing, okay.
Alright. So I need a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, I need a motion to issue an order of conditions with our standard order of conditions, with an extra, extend that silt fence line, and we need a new plan showing the revision for
Okay.
the silt fence line on it before we can issue the order of
Absolutely.
conditions.
And I assume the agent will be out to inspect the silt fence prior, so.
Yeah, that's included in the
Yeah.
standard order
Yeah.
of conditions, probably number one.
And once it's in, give them a call.
Yeah.
One
So
more thing,
moved.
one more thing,
Second.
discussion,
Yep,
what's the percentage of impervious coverage on this plot?
I would have to calculate it, I don't have that off the top of my head.
Can you get it recalculated and added to the revised plan,
I can,
please?
Okay,
yes.
yeah,
Thank you.
okay, so, got a
So
motion
moved.
in a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
You're all set,
Yeah.
thanks. Good luck.
You can just call the office.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to you.
Yeah, and you can send the revised plan over to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
there's all the notifications, they're all set. Go with the file.
okay, next up, 52 Clear Pond Road. I think we had both plans, the one we got at the last meeting. Also. Mark,
I have a couple.
they were in the basket,
Have a big one.
Yeah,
but, yeah, the big one, but the one we received at the last,
yeah, I have
at the
several
9/23/25 meeting.
No, this is one, all right, from the last meeting or from?
From 9/23.
This was received on October 24th.
This is a small, this one was received.
So we have to vote to accept the new plan as a revised.
It's just from,
No, you got it in on Thursday. I don't know what this, I mean, we've had it for a while. We got one at the last meeting, and we get one at the new meeting, just for comparison. We printed out what we got at the last meeting and what we got at this meeting.
we got this on Monday.
Yeah, but these are
Go-
signed and
go-
sealed
go
on
forward.
different dates.
Yeah.
Plan revised October 23rd,
And this one says
September 23rd. This new one
Yep,
was,
that we just got.
was dated October 23rd. The previous one that was submitted as part of our hearing was dated September 23rd.
Okay.
So yes, I think we,
So motion to accept the new plan?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're up.
Madam Chairman, how are we doing today, everyone? So at the last meeting, we talked about, the plan itself, but then, the commission was asking for a wetland restoration construction sequence and the plan and notes and the seed and all that, so that's what we added on to this. So that you would know exactly when and how things were gonna happen outside, then looking at the plan. So it talks about the shrubs being 20 foot on center, what types of plants we are available to use, how we're gonna go about removing the wood chips and relocating them somewhere else, so obviously just get them out of there, and then a seed note. One thing I wanna note on the seed note is, I think we had talked about, I talked with the engineer about doing the seed in probably like May or June. It's not gonna happen right away, cause nothing's gonna grow right now. So basically what we do is get everything, removed, situated, and then be ready to seed. The trees can go in a little earlier, but that was one of the things that we thought would be best to wait. And one thing I was gonna ask the board, so the environmental engineer is talking about a 20 foot on center for these plants that are gonna go in there. But I was gonna ask the board is, if it ends up being a tree there, can we just skip that one, go to the, you know what I mean? We don't wanna be taking down any trees just to make this thing happen, if that makes any sense. The trees are pretty well established there.
All right, so before we make any kind of a determination on that, I think we need to hear from, Mark spent considerable time looking at this.
Okay.
And there's several other issues that we need to talk about before we talk about whether or not we're gonna
Yep.
allow that.
Sounds good.
So, and I don't know if anybody else has had a chance, but, so looking at the plan, the most recent one we got last meeting, was that 10/23? I'm sorry, okay, or 24.
10/23.
Oh, okay, so,
We received it on 23.
so, it's not clear, so who did the wetland delineation there? Was that Steve
Steve
Schmidt?
Chamel, yes.
So, okay, and then there's, there's the, test pits, so that was from Steve.
Yes.
Okay, so, and then another question, just, looking at the site, the plan, it appears that there's some wood chips that outside of the restoration line there, that would be to the west.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think that's supposed to be there. I think
This stuff, yeah?
that was the
Yeah.
surveyor did put that in there.
Oh.
Well,
I saw that as well, the two wood chips, top and bottom there. Why he put that there, I'm not sure, but if there are any there, they're gonna be removed anyways.
okay, yeah, because at least to the left or to the west,
Correct.
that looks like it's wetland in
Yep.
there.
Absolutely is.
One thing that and I use GIS, and I didn't have shape files for this plan, but, looking at the site on GIS on the town, I tried to calculate the area that had been disturbed, and I come up with, so you have here 24,500, so I came up with slightly higher number, but it was just almost back of the envelope, using the tool there. So that I talked to DEP about that, because that raises a couple regulatory questions, which basically anything over 5,000 square feet, and these were some preliminary, I had a call with DEP and talked to them. We can't, my understanding is the commission can't authorize work above the 5,000 square foot limit. And given the total area, it throws it into an ecological restoration. So, and so I would think Steve Schmiel would be familiar with that, or wetland scientist, but there's a whole other set of requirements that are in the act. It's 310 CMR, 1013, and 1014.
Why don't we give them a copy of this?
Okay, yeah, I can give you, I wrote up some notes, I was doing this afternoon. So that's
So can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So if we cannot permit anything over 5,000 square feet, and it kicks it up into this ecological restoration project, who oversees that? DEP?
We do,
So
but
we do. Okay.
that's the response to that. We've exceeded the trigger of 5,000 square feet, and again, I'm
No, that's
reading
fine,
this
yeah,
and talking
yeah.
to DEP, but we've exceeded 5,000 square feet, so you couldn't require any replication, restoration, but the way the act handles that is it has this other category, which is an ecological restoration.
That we still
Yeah, we still oversee,
oversee.
and we would issue, ultimately, once we have a plan that, it would be an ecological restoration plan, and there's a lot in here
Right.
to take a look at, a lot of conditions, and once we get an ecological restoration plan, then you could submit the notice of intent, and we would issue
So does this,
orders of conditions.
so this doesn't satisfy
No.
what an ecological?
John, I just wanna put this into, a little simpler box, if I might.
No, that's fine, I overcomplicate.
If you go
some
back,
things.
no, it's fine. If you go back to the restoration plan.
Yep.
And what we asked him, this is the step of, the restoration plan. My first question is, I don't see Steve Schmiel anywhere on this. Who did the restoration
It's
plan?
down.
On the notes.
On the notes, number 3. Wetlands were delineated by Steve Schmiel.
Right, the wetlands were, but the
Yeah.
restoration plan is
Oh,
not.
this was all Steve.
There's
These-
no,
These are all
But
his
there's
notes.
There's
no
no written-
documentation.
no written plan that actually outlines.
Well, that's why we
From
put,
a-
instead of piece of paper, we put it here.
I
So
think
it'd
we
be on the
need it
plan.
from a professional wetland scientist, so I think we need a report from Steve Schmiel. This could come from, for all I know, from a land surveyor. There's not anything on here that says that. And if the commission will go back to the restoration plan, once a restoration plan is approved by the Lakeville Conservation Commission, a notice of intent will be filed to condition the work. So we're at the stage of saying if this is an appropriate restoration plan, because he'll still need a notice of intent for DEP, but on the notice of intent, you check the box that says ecological restoration. And then he will have to follow all of what he's pointing out in the regulations. But prior to that, some of those things need to be included in the restoration plan out of the regulations.
So should we go right to an NOI and do it all at
No,
once?
I think we need a restoration plan. We can't go right to it because I don't know about anybody else, but I don't see anything from
So-
Steve Schmiel here.
It sort of feels like we skipped a step. Like Steve went out and dug his test pits and then said, okay, here's the delineation of the wetlands.
And then he gave us all this
And then
information.
drew a picture, and this is what we're gonna do.
No, Steve did draw the picture of the survey, did. Steve did all the notes on it. So I can show you an email where he submitted them to the survey to put it in there.
We
That's-
requested that he submit an actual written report to us delineating specifically what his findings were, and then, in follow-up to those findings, an appropriate restoration plan.
So you want him to sign this sheet, saying he's okay with it?
No,
mean,
I
that's
would
all
like
it-
to see a report from him, I would think, and I also think the plan needs to get fixed because, I don't know, Mark, you said that you thought it was like 30,000 square feet, this is 24, but you're not including those wood chips on this area out here. So that this should be, the restoration line's in the wrong place.
Right, and he mentioned that, and I did take a note of that.
Okay.
Those wood chips shouldn't say that right there. I don't know why.
That should be the
Yeah.
line of restoration around,
Right.
right? So that might put the 24.5 up to.
No, the wood chips don't go beyond that restoration line. He put, the survey put the note of that,
And why it say wood chips
because
there?
he shouldn't have put it in.
Okay.
That's all.
So the significance of the area is it just, it exceeds.
Either way, it's over 5,000.
Right.
Right, so,
So it 24, or if it's 31, I'm doing an arrow
Right.
cursor, so it exceeds that,
Well,
which kicks it into following the requirements for an ecological restoration. And actually, I wrote the sections on here too.
so
I'll go ahead.
before we vote to accept the restoration,
We need wanna.
You should probably have, if you're gonna have Schmiel do that, look at that, because there may be other things
Sure.
that are required.
And I saw you
There's a
writing
lot.
down
You wanna get
references
it all
in the law,
approved at the
right?
same
Yes, yeah.
And you
Well-
don't have Mark in here until like, almost like at the end, is he in here somewhere else where he should be the first person there and he should be,
That's step 9,
after it's done? Mark should be.
following completion of restoration
Yeah,
work.
no, I think Mark needs to be completed, included in steps along the way.
So I think, from my opinion, and would love to hear what everybody else feels like, is we would like a more formal written document from Steve Schmiel that says, I conducted the test pits, this are the findings, with a visual of, here is what I determined to be the wetlands area that was impacted, and as a result of those findings, here is my recommended restoration plan.
No, I understand that,
In
but,
a
yeah.
standalone document, and then have this is the companion to that, and have it updated to correctly reflect
well,
that.
I was asked at the last meeting to have it put on the plan. I wasn't asked any more of that. Well, I think the best thing is, why don't we just go to an NOI and, because all I'm trying to do is respond to the enforcement order.
Yeah, part of the
But it would be
enforcement
nice
order
to-
was to have a restoration plan, so we
And,
can't.
and that's in here, but it's just not in the format you want, but why
All
not
right,
just do the
Derek,
NOI,
stop.
right?
Stop. We're saying this is not, it's not gonna help you to argue because this is saying that this is not what we asked for. I don't know, does everybody agree we need something from Steve Schmiel, who is a professional wetland scientist, because it's not reflected. He might well have done this, but this is just on a plan. We would like his report
Is he
with his
certified?
Yeah.
PWS. Yeah, he is.
So I think at the very least, you need to have him stamp this.
Does he have a stamp?
I mean, if he's the.
I don't think they have stamps.
No, I think we asked for a report
This
from
is just a
Steve.
survey, right?
No, I only did what I thought was asked, was to
Yeah.
have everything put on this plan, these notes, so
But
that's
this
why I
is a
did it.
survey, it's not a restoration plan. You have detailed notes saying how you're gonna do it, but this is a survey. And the guy who's certifying this plan is saying that it's been surveyed correctly. That's all he's saying.
Oh, yeah, correct.
So we need something from Steve Schmiel saying this is the restoration plan and this is what needs to be done. It's
And it
either
needs to
stamped
address
or,
the regulations.
right, and rather than waste any more time, have them look at this.
I agree, so versus coming back here with a letter, let me just do this ecological restoration plan with Steve and just do it all at once. I mean, no sense coming back and giving you a letter that this is that. Why not just go right down that road and,
He should-
We need to close out the enforcement order, and we need that restoration plan in order to do that before the submission of the NOI.
you sure? I would think an NOI would cover it all.
We put terms on the enforcement order, so.
Yeah. This went to DEP.
No, I
This
understand
enforcement
that,
order
right.
went to DEP, and I just think that we need to have a better understanding and have something from, a restoration order should be from a,
Wetland scientist.
yeah, wetland scientist. Otherwise, I suppose another thing we could do is say we want a peer review, is this adequate? Which it already seems it's not, because through our agent, that there's a lot of regulations that need to be addressed.
Well, there was another issue too, right, with, National Heritage?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, we didn't get to that yet. I have a question.
Yeah, I'm getting over to that page right here, yeah.
so the restoration plan, I'm happy to talk to Steve or
Sure.
send these sections to you so you can look at them. There's a lot of stuff here. Basically, basically, the plan for restoration is already, what you have to have in that plan is in here, so you would use this as, I would think, as a template. It's kind of written in, not every condition is applicable, but I'm sure Steve could work through it. I'm happy to talk to Steve. I don't think Steve will have
No, I don't
questions
think
about
I
it,
will,
but he
right.
can, but whether the cart or the horse, it's almost like you're gonna have to come up with a restoration plan consistent with an ecological restoration.
So, just so I understand, so what we have here on the left, you don't consider a restoration plan, or you do? Because if he could document this, sign it and get that to you, that's fine. But are you gonna ask for more? I think eventually, we just went down two different roads. Now that we know that this is a different situation.
It's not, it's the same thing. Once a restoration plan is approved, we're just saying, we don't think this is a proper restoration plan.
This
And
is
it
just
could
with-
be paraphrased from what, we don't know what Steve, we don't have anything from Steve, what he said.
Yeah, so
And
I can get that to the agent
you
as
must
early
have
as.
had a report that you had to give to get this on the plan, so we'd like to see the report.
I think for,
Yep,
I
go,
mean,
go.
I think for me, there's a couple things. I think what's on the plan, you know, things like, you know, notifying the Conservation Commission and the agent almost, when the work is done instead of working up front. There's the issue of natural heritage. There should be some, with a restoration plan, there should be milestones. You know, there should almost be a report and a time frame, and whether it should be written and also show up on the site plan, in my opinion. That said, when I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the amount of area that was disturbed, that's what took me to, we can't, it's above this threshold. So I've been talking with DEP, I called them a couple times and they're like, yeah, the route you gotta go is an ecological restoration, which, then if you go, there's some specific conditions. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No,
but
no.
I would say there's some deficiencies with that restoration plan. And
So this feels like an executive timeline of the restoration, because it says clearly that it's the construction sequence. And this is great to have, just for the record, this is great to have on this.
And that's what he gave me, and then.
But it's not an actual summary of the findings of the, evaluation of the land that was disturbed, and then a written report of the plan. But it's a great executive summary, like I said, to have on this plan. We just need that one little bit more to actually have him document his findings and his plans.
And his plans.
Yeah, I mean, if it's okay with the commission, I'll make sure Steve contacts your agent direct, and they figure it out together.
and
That would make the most sense, I think.
Yes.
And so just one other point or observation. So it's gonna be reseeded. Do you know, I haven't looked at historical images. I don't know if was it forested wetlands? Was it,
I don't think anybody knows.
you can go back pretty far.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
Yeah.
anyhow, just a little bit more specificity on, you know, the planting itself.
Right.
That's typical in at least a replication plan. It's like, we're gonna plant whether it's high bush blueberries, sweet pepper, whatever it is, they tend to be pretty specific in the planting schedule, but
Yeah, no, I
it's
think,
just,
I think it would be a lot easier if you and Steve called you and worked this through. That way there's no misunderstanding on my part of what you're asking. And then after that, we go into an NOI.
That will check the box of, ecological restoration. It's on the regular notice of intent, is ecological restoration. And it has, we even have a specific order of conditions to give out of the regulations.
Okay.
And the confusion is I haven't seen this. I don't think any of us have seen an ecological restoration.
I've never heard of it before.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Is that
it's kind of a unique kind of a thing, and it's a lot of area has been impacted, so I think it's a little difficult for all of us trying to figure how to do it right.
But while I'm here, as you can see on, this house, is gonna need a septic system at some point. So I asked Darren Michaelis if he could tell the surveyor where he's proposing to do the leach field, and if the board can at least look at that, see if that's okay with that idea.
I don't think we can think about a septic system until
Well, I just want you to notice it on the plan, that we're trying to stay 100 feet away from,
Proposed, we noticed proposed, yeah.
Force main
Yeah.
along the side.
right, to get it far enough away from any of the wetlands.
But I think on the restoration plan, that really doesn't have to do with that we would have to say that
That would be a separate submittal
Yeah.
altogether in the future.
It would be part of the NOI. I
No,
would assume.
your NOI is a ecological restoration. And regular NOI would be for the septic system. I think you're trying to skip steps, and I just don't think we can. I don't think we can think about,
I'm just learning, I'm not trying to skip anything, I'm just trying to
Okay,
get
all
this
right.
thing fair. I didn't make
All
this
right,
mess,
okay.
and I'm trying to
No,
fix it.
you didn't, and you're trying to clean it up, we get that part, I get that part, but we also have to follow our procedures, and we
Well,
have
can
to
he,
go one step at a time.
can he file two NOIs at the same time, one for
he
ecological
could.
and one for the regular,
I think so.
for that line? Cause really just the force main line
Mhm.
and the septic is out, that the leaching field would be outside,
Right,
would it be outside the 100 foot? No.
way over, outside the 100 foot,
It
yeah.
would,
And we
so-
can predicate approval of the septic NOI based off of acceptance
Right.
and completion of the restoration
Yeah.
work.
Just to, you know, so he doesn't
Okay.
lose any more time.
Yeah, cause I have to go to the
okay.
Board of Health with something as well,
Right.
so that they can look at this.
But we can't give you an unofficial off the record, like, oh, hey, wink, wink, that looks good.
No, but
We
you
just
could
have to
definitely
have
tell
a
me if you
second.
don't like it, cause then I can say I wasn't gonna do it. I mean, that's okay too. But I think, all right, so that's best step, have Steve contact you, cause this is all new today,
Yeah,
Coming
and
up.
it's,
and, we'll see what comes up next meeting.
And then what was the issue with the National
Oh, yeah,
Heritage?
what's that?
That it's in the National Heritage,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a good chunk of it is estimated habitat for rare species, which it so requires. a-
Eastern box turtles is what it is out here.
well, so make sure
Con-
you have to permit it with them too, with National Heritage, you have to.
I'll let Steve know that, so he
Yeah.
can guide me on that one too.
Okay, so when would you like to continue to?
Yeah, question.
Oh, of course,
Just
I'm sorry.
Minor thing, it's the English street, excuse that, okay? In
Uh-oh.
three different places, in three different places, we see the term conc, C-O-N-C, which I assume is concrete, okay? There's a concrete drive, then there's a bituminous concrete drive,
Yeah.
there's a concrete drive and a concrete pad. I assume that we're talking the exact same material, just
Yeah,
refer
Well,
to it three different ways.
yeah, the concrete pad's just a small, because it is just a pad sitting
Okay.
there. But yeah, the concrete, I don't know why they just,
Okay, just.
oh no,
I don't.
bit concrete drive is asphalt.
Oh, that's-
Bituminous
Well,
concrete.
that's bituminous concrete, so
Yes.
that's got oil and
Yeah, that's,
stuff,
and then
that's
the
a different
concrete is at the
product.
garage, yes.
Okay. But
I
none
don't
of-
know why they use that terminology, instead of calling it asphalt.
Yeah, okay, asphalt, because asphalt, we look at asphalt as an entirely different thing.
Yes,
Okay.
yep. I don't know why they do that.
So our meeting dates coming up are, which is
We're off
later
schedule.
on the, whatever, but is, one in November and one in December, from what I'm
There's
looking at.
2 in November.
But we had
We're
decided
canceling
last
the
time, but we
25th.
didn't make it clear to Lori, I think, because she had us on her schedule for 2. But we had decided, I thought at the last
I
meeting,
thought
we
we
were
had
only
2.
gonna have
No, one.
We're
one,
gonna-
because
No,
one's
we did.
the other one's Thanksgiving week, and we had decided we were just gonna do one. But I don't
Better
think
way
Lori
to
got the
celebrate
memo.
Thanksgiving.
So we can fix that, but our next meeting is a, Thursday,
Thur-
not a Tuesday.
It is.
Yeah.
No, that's fine,
11,
and
13.
Steve already has this, all I gotta do is just have
13th.
him print it and get it to you. But he's
Okay.
gonna have to make changes, obviously,
It's
with
the
the agent.
13th.
November 13th.
November 13th, all
And,
right?
have to
and
work
what
with
day of
Steve.
the week is that?
It's a
Thursday.
Thursday. So somebody
My-
wanna
my
make a
little
motion?
brain's not gonna handle that.
Are we all done with questions?
Can I just ask one last question? So
Yep.
for that meeting on Thursday, Steve will have already talked with your agent and come up with the restoration plan document. I don't think we need to do anything more with this plan itself at this point, just the document we need.
It would be great to have a revised plan with it
I think,
corrected and
I'm sorry.
affirmed by Steve what the actual restoration area is, remove the confusing wood chips lines, just to clean it up, so that somebody doesn't come back and look at it and say, well,
Why
it
didn't
says
you
this
take care of
here,
this?
and there's disparity between the two, so if we could have it cleaned up.
Do you want me to have him sign this plan?
Steve,
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessary, we don't
as long
have
as they're,
the-
as long as
we
they're,
have his report to attach to it.
and you could just say in the notes, reference, you know, the above
I'll
references.
have him reference the plan he's used
Steve's.
in his notes.
That would
Okay.
be lovely if they referenced each other.
Yeah.
But a cleaned up plan would be
But I-
ideal to have for the next meeting as well, please.
I would wait on the cleaned up plan in case something out of Steve's report needs to add something over
No.
here, I don't see the agent
Steve
in
will
here
add
enough.
whatever he needs on here.
Okay,
It'll
all
come
right.
the same time. And in his report, he'll reference the revised date of
Okay.
this plan.
Okay,
And then keep the Board of Health in mind and whatever you gotta
Right.
do there.
Yeah, we're trying to do perks sometime next week, but it's gonna be way out in the back there.
All right, so, motion,
Motion to continue till November 13th at 6:30 at the police station.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you, guys.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sorry, so confusing.
Hey, I'm new at this.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
So it's the 11:25 meeting that we're not gonna have.
Can't, so let's take, you wanna take that out of order and just get it done with, that we're only gonna have, I need a motion, but we're only gonna have one meeting in November.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so 11:25
And one in
is out,
December also.
and one in December also, well, they've been pretty short. Okay, back up to, anybody have anything else to say about the wetland bylaw?
Not at the moment.
No? Yes,
What about enforcement? Does that come under us being able to enforce and find someone? I know we've been talking about that, so would that come under this wetland
under the
bylaw?
wetland bylaw, yeah,
Yeah.
it would be.
Yeah, right
Mass-
now we can't.
We can't,
All right.
nobody can in town, well, it's Mass General Law 21 D? I don't know exactly, I'd have to look at it, but that is added in, that enforcement would be part of the wetland bylaw, that we would have the ability to
And
enforce.
Lakeville is in the minority in terms of having such legislation. But what are the rough figures out of,
You mean for wetland bylaws?
yeah,
In Massachusetts, there's 192 towns that have a wetland bylaw,
Out of 351.
yep.
All right, what would it take for us to, or why don't we have the power to enforce anything?
Because we haven't adopted, as the town has not adopted the Wetlands Protection Act or ratified it. That by itself would give us the enforcement authority.
Okay.
And then, if we so chose, once we've got that, we'd consider that our baseline bylaw, that we could add anything that we thought was specific or appropriate. So we'd have to put that on the town warrant for the next town meeting, or when we were ready to have it, and present our bylaw, our proposed bylaw, and our argument for them.
But I
So-
think we,
That passed.
excuse me, I think we got it back pretty clearly that the Mass
Town is
General Law
not in favor of a
does-
bylaw.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that it's very clear that we don't have to ratify the Wetland Protection Act. And there was a letter that got sent out, I sent it went to Andrew, and he checked into it, and we do not have, it's state law. Towns do not have to ratify the Wetland Protection Act,
Then why can't we find now?
Yeah.
Why is, why
because
is,
we don't have, the Wetland Protection Act doesn't
DEP.
include chapter 21D, is it?
So
That
we
is
have to
for
rely-
enforcement,
We have to rely on DEP.
yeah.
So what most towns do to get started is use the Wetlands Protection Act, adopt that, and use that as the base of their bylaw. And that, because then it's already written, and since you already have to follow that by state law, it's easy to adopt that as a baseline, because it's already the law. It just, by adopting it locally as serving as think of it as the skeleton of our bylaw, that then gives us the local enforcement authority, and then you can choose to add on.
You would add on some language probably initially that this is what we go under, but it's a state law, and we fall under it with the Conservation Act, which is, chapter 40. 8C, I think it is, where a Conservation Commission, in 1971, was it?
it goes
When
even
we-
further back than
right.
that, I think, but.
We've already accepted
Yeah.
that, when we appointed a Conservation Commission back in 1971, that went into you are
Accepting
accepting
the state
the
law.
state
And
law.
once we accept the state law, we can enforce the state law. We cannot lessen the state law.
Right.
but we have it, so what you're saying is in 71, when we
Adopted it.
adopted a commission in this town, we accepted the wetland.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
So why do we need to make it part of a bylaw?
Right. We already
We
have it.
don't. We need a local bylaw to strengthen our protection.
But so we're not gonna be specifically asking the town to ratify the Wetlands Act. So now we're talking about something totally different.
We're already subject to it.
Right,
But,
but there is language probably in it that, oh, your commission functions under chapter 131, section 40, and additionally, there's a list of things that you wanna add on to
So,
for extra protection for our town, because if you look at the map, and I brought it,
There's a lot of water in Lakeville.
I know, I think Mark might have
So-
showed this on his phone at the last meeting, I don't know, but
by us,
you can see how we sit.
oh yeah, no,
Put one down to,
I think we saw this.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
couple meetings ago.
on a phone, but not an actual map of shows how we stick out.
so by accepting the state's law, that means we do have the power of enforcement,
No,
No.
no?
no.
So
All
you
the
need to
towns
have, you need to have a bylaw to do that?
Yes,
What bylaw? Any bylaw or just
We
certain?
draft it as long as the town accepts
a
and votes
local
it.
wetland bylaw, which is another thing that is handed out if we're talking about it. I think Lori put it in everybody's packet, that I, actually went to Human Resources and asked about, now that, our budget, everybody's budget, education is taken out of everybody's budget and goes to HR. So I went to Lacey and asked her about a training, to have somebody come in from MACC or some professional people come in and talk to us about why a wetland bylaw is important and answer all these kind of questions from someone that's a professional instead of us all just kicking it around. Her reply was, Nancy, you should have this at the library and you should invite all the boards so everybody
Yeah.
sees the importance of it. So,
So to the, I don't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
So to the point of what Joe said, bylaws enable towns to enact, or it can, there's other reasons, but you can have additional protections that don't necessarily exist in the act. Intermittent streams, just for, I'm just throwing that one out there.
Vernal pools,
vernal-
potential vernal pools.
They can be more restrictive, they can't be less restrictive. In terms of enforcement, my understanding is, so we can issue, anybody, any member of the Conservation Commission can issue an enforcement order or.
Which
cease
we've
and
done,
desist.
but
Yeah.
there's no teeth to it.
Right, exactly.
Right, and at that point, that's where we have to rely on DEP if somebody, we know you cut down a whole bunch of trees along the stream here, we wanna come in and look at it, no, I'm not gonna give you access to my property. Okay, it's America, you gotta go get an administrative warrant. Yeah, there's a point where, DEP
But the perfect example to that
enforces it.
is having to depend on DEP, and as we've seen with 160 Bedford Street, I've called DEP, I've called the emergency response when we had pictures of the oil spill, and they were supposed to put the strike team on it, and repeatedly called DEP about 160 Bedford Street, and it continues to be a blight on our town, and it continues to have all kinds of things going on over there that are environmentally, Not good. yeah, on top of everything else,
Another aspect of it, I think different towns have different fee schedules. I don't know exactly how they implement it, but, separate from what's, the state's, schedule for fees. I think some towns use it for that. I don't know, so.
Essentially, the generation of the commission created a supervisory watch board where people come and they get permitted and they're regulated and watched over, but it's a dog on a leash. Like John said, there's no teeth in our enforcement power. We can say, stop it, don't do it again, stop it, don't do it again, but we can't really disincentivize them other than, being good citizens, and reporting them up to the state, which given the current, level to which they're overtasked and understaffed, I guess you would say, and that it's happening everywhere, we can't rely on them, and so we would
Right,
like to, take care of ourselves.
I will,
And having a bylaw, even if it's bare minimum of, hey, this is already existing law, and we're getting the teeth to enforce existing law, is how we start to have that ability. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, like, this is one spot now, and you know, DEP's busy as anything.
Yeah.
You get one or two other spots to pick up a Lakeville, and all of a sudden, they're so far behind already, is this gonna snowball, and just, nothing's ever gonna get,
I think we saw with Captain's Way, I think she's, when we went for denial on Captain's Way, and we met with DP on site, and she said, well, we're like, when will we get an answer, and she's like 75 days, but good luck with 75 days, because it's going out a lot longer than that, because they have 88, Southeast Regional Office has 88 cities and towns
Yeah,
that they're looking at.
and many of which are experiencing rapid growth.
yeah.
As an example from some years back, at one time, if you had a local making a presentation to us, filed for something, and was reluctant to do what we wanted him to do, we always gave him a choice. Well, you can work with us, or you can work with the state agency that has finding authority. Finding authority. And they go, oh, okay. But now, they seem to be reluctant to use their finding authority. I mean, DEP is a chronically underfunded agency. You would think they'd be wanting to, collect a few bucks here, there, and about the place.
So, was thinking, when I asked about this training, is that it's a place to start, and it wouldn't hurt for all the boards, because other boards make decisions too, like the planning board and the zoning board of appeals make,
And it beats driving to
Decisions.
Holy Cross.
right, and it beats Holy Cross. And it's specific, the training is called, a rent a professional, or rent a, what's it called?
That does not sound,
That doesn't sound professional.
Rent an expert, and one of the main things is how to write, pass, and implement local bylaws. So that was,
Oh, so it's not specific to a wetland bylaw?
no, well, you're gonna.
It's
you-
offered
you-
by
you-
MACC
You tell them
then?
what you want.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they had said when I called MACC, is tell us exactly what you want. And I don't,
I think
but
it's
there's no
a good idea.
date or anything, I mean,
Towns, towns have stormwater bylaws,
Oh, yeah.
which are more stringent,
which,
or
that's
can
gonna
be
be on
more.
our next agenda, because we have a
And I know.
stormwater bylaw
Well, here at
coming up.
planning, other towns, it's with,
We have a
Conservation.
stormwater bylaw coming up? What do you mean?
At town meeting.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Presented by who?
I think it might
Planning
be for the
board?
annual, but it's coming, yeah,
Oh, okay,
and it involves us, so I'm gonna put it on the next agenda, I don't wanna
Okay.
talk about it till it's on the agenda.
sounds good.
But I'm gonna put it on the next agenda, and hopefully we'll have some kind of a draft I can pass out to everybody so that we can,
And we got,
Talk about it.
what's our next meeting, the next town meeting is November,
Fourth,
12th. November 12th.
that's for the Old Colony, right?
A Wednesday.
Isn't that the vote for Old Colony?
yeah, that's,
No, it's a fall town meeting,
Oh.
it's like
No,
4 or
it's just a
5
Wednesday.
articles on there,
Okay.
right?
Is there a separate meeting for Old Colony? Or is it a?
I think it has to be both, I think Old
No, I
Colony
think
has to go to,
it's part of it.
part of it goes there and then it goes to the polls,
Yeah, there's a whole separate committee for Old Colony too, cause it splits,
yeah.
it splits counties.
Yeah, so
So
it,
it's-
town meeting's usually on like the Tuesday, but it's a holiday, so they got moved to the 12th, which is why we got moved to the 13th,
Gotcha.
okay? Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
All right, possible reorganization. I gotta say, I don't know where that came from, possible reorganization. I had to miss the last meeting because I was at a selectmen's meeting trying to answer the questions about our warrant article, so I wasn't here, so I really don't know what that's all about. I've been, I don't think we've ever had any kind of a policy about reorganization. I know Emery Orr was chairman for about 10 years.
But don't most boards in town vote every year to reorganize?
The
Even
zoning
if they
doesn't.
don't reorganize,
Well,
they take a vote.
right, but the thing is, we never have had a policy like that, and I don't think the zoning board does. If it's an elected position, yes, you have to reorganize
Okay.
after the election. We are all appointed, So, I mean, if you wanted to set a policy, which I don't really understand why, but if the board decided they wanted to set a policy, it probably should be after the reappointments in July, not what, the third week in November,
Yeah.
October,
October.
whatever month it is.
Yeah, this came up from, I know it was, came from the select board that the committees were supposed to reorg after reappointments. I don't know how the communication goes out, or spoken to, but just that it was
I
something
have
that
no
should be
problem with,
discussed.
but I think you're right, I think it makes sense to do it after the appointees, when there's a brand new board, or however many new members are. I don't think it's a bad thing to change up, you know, leadership and blood, if somebody wants to do it. I have no desire, but if somebody else wants to, I don't have any problem with taking a vote and.
I would think historically it would be good, like Joe and I are the oldest members, not oldest members, but longest
Senior members.
longest sitting members on, and, I would think, I would like somebody to be on for a period of time before that would happen, because there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of historical stuff that, I even go to Joe sometime with things that I don't remember, but, I mean, I've been on for 25 years, so I remember the biggies.
Well, I wouldn't feel comfortable voting on anything like this anyway
Without
without a
Mark
full
here.
board.
Agreed.
That's just my opinion.
Speaking of that, what happened to Mark tonight?
He got caught up in work.
Oh, okay.
I think we have pretty close to a full board. I think that we should, vote to put it to, if we're gonna set a new policy, then we should vote to put it to when we're reappointed in July.
We're all reappointed on a different time for different cycles,
Right.
though.
Well,
Yeah.
different years.
But
right?
it's
Different
reappoint,
years.
yeah, right, we are, but the reappointments are July
Always,
31st.
always in July.
Yeah,
Madam?
Yeah.
But isn't it already a policy with the town? The Hearing Commission, we have a
Right.
vote every year.
right.
Doesn't change, but you vote every year
Are you
anyway.
guys, are you guys elected or appointed?
Appointed.
You're appointed,
Yeah.
same situation.
I don't think it's a bad policy, even if nothing changes.
Yeah, nothing always changes, it's just,
The opportunity's there if somebody's interested in.
So I think that we should get some clarity on if there is a town policy or just general guidance, and wait until we do have a full board, because I think Mark should have a say as well.
I already talked to the town clerk, and there's not the policy is for elected boards, it's not for the other ones. And
Not
to
for-
tell you the truth, I'm gonna tell you, I'd like to know right now. Because I'm the chairman, I've been the chairman just a little over a year. I don't mind doing it, but it makes me very uncomfortable that all of a sudden it comes from somewhere out of the blue, outside, that, they're talking about reappointments, and I don't mind talking about that,
No,
but I'm
don't
not
know, I don't know
finished.
that they're talking about reappointments, I think they're talking about having the board voting.
Reorganize.
Reorganize.
right. And
Or
I'm
take a
telling
vote to
you,
reorganize every year.
I would like to know right now. I feel like this is hanging over my head. And I would like a vote to either reaffirm that I'm gonna be chairman and we'll talk about the policy in July, or later on, or not. I've done a lot of work. We didn't have, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna advocate for myself, because we didn't have an agent for way over 6 months. And I've worked really hard since Mark came. He's new to this area, and I've worked hard with him.
Right.
And I think I'd like to see a vote where you reaffirm that I will be the chairman at least until July. Cause why would I be doing all this work if you want somebody else for a chairman? I really think you ought to do that. He's the newest member. He's been to what, 2 meetings? I don't think it matters whether he's here or not. We have a quorum, and I would like a vote to reaffirm that I'm chairman. I don't wanna be sitting on eggshells thinking I'm gonna get voted out, so I
Make a
don't think
motion.
that's too much to ask.
Make a motion.
Well, let me,
I'm the chairman, somebody else should make a
You-
motion.
Chairman can make a motion, but I'll tell you that I brought it up at the last meeting, and it was brought up not to vote you out, it was brought up to have a discussion, because I had heard from several folks and asked about why our board hadn't reorganized,
Because we never did, we never organized with your dad, he was chairman for 15 years.
I wasn't on the
And Laura
board
was
then.
chairman for 10 years.
Honestly
So-
though,
This was
how long have I been on? I
a
don't even
really long
know.
time.
But I remember taking a vote. I remember reorganizing at least once.
Yeah, we did, when Bob asked me to start
No,
running the meetings.
before that, way back, when I
Ah.
first got on the board.
No, I've been here a long
And
time.
it was just
I've never-
a quick, motion to keep the chairman the one, you know.
All right,
And,
so,
excuse me,
I'm
and I
gonna,
do believe it's just that once a year, so I mean, you can't be ousted before July.
yes, I can.
How?
I could be ousted tonight.
We can reorg at any time.
Yeah,
Really?
That's
It's
what
not
I'm
a yearly
saying,
thing,
yeah.
so,
Is-
whereas the three of us here are brand spanking new, so we could have come in here and just changed the whole board.
Well, you could make
Within
a
a month.
motion, but the rest of the board would have to agree with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
and we're
to
not
pass-
But if
talking,
we had one more new person, then all of a sudden the board could flip just like that.
but the chair does a lot of work, but can't act independent of the rest of the board.
Right.
So reorganizing is an administrative piece, there's a lot that goes behind it, but the chairman can't just act independent of the board on hearings or,
yeah, everything comes back before the board.
so,
And there's a lot of things that could fall through the cracks, believe me. We've done a service to the people, or I feel I have, when I helped and did a lot of work when we didn't have an agent, to make sure that people got heard in a timely manner, things didn't fall through the cracks. It still happens with Mark and I working together. You know, it almost takes two eyes sometimes that things don't fall through the cracks. People don't have to be continued 100 times if we make sure all the work is done. So I would like to make a motion that I remain chairman until at least July 31st of 2026, and then you can do whatever you want.
I'll second that.
Does someone else need to make a motion besides the chair?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we should roll call.
Okay, roll call vote.
LeBlanc, aye.
Bouchard abstain.
Yates, aye.
Chamberlain, aye.
Lima Finals, aye.
Matthew Ferraro, aye.
Thank you. That's all. I don't wanna be on pins and needles. I was just feeling very, maybe threatened because where it came from all of a sudden to me is kinda, and I know I've been pushing the wetland bylaw, and I know there's probably
But
a lot
chair
of
doesn't remove
people
you
that-
from, I would just like to say that chair, because you made it sound like if you were removed from chair, you were removed from the board and not important, and that would never be the case.
Oh, no, I still have a mouse, I'm thinking. Come on, all right, so let's have a motion to adjourn.
I've made enough motions tonight.
So moved.
Let somebody else.
All in favor? Oh,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.